Title: Blood Money. How I Stole $42 million from my psycho family. Intro: The Perfect Lie. You think you know me, right? You've seen my reels popping bottles of Dom Perignon on a yacht in South Beach. You've liked my photos at Art Basel, wearing dresses that cost more than your college tuition. You call me Valerie, the Princess of Miami. You think my life is one big, permanent, golden hour filter. You guys are so naive. If you knew the truth, you'd unsubscribe right now. Or maybe you wouldn't. Maybe you're sick like that. Maybe you want to watch the porcelain doll get smashed. And 3 months ago, I was Valerie Sterling, 28 years old, 1.2 million followers, and my biggest stress was what to wear to the Met Gala. Today, I'm something else. I'm the product of brutal natural selection. In my family, the strong don't survive. The best liars do. And believe me, I learned from the masters. If you're reading this, I'm already gone. And if the feds are watching, spoiler alert, you're never finding the money. This is the story of how I inherited $42 million out of a family of murderers and a first-class ticket to hell. Part 1, The Golden Bait. It started on a Tuesday, a total trash Tuesday. I was at a rooftop bar in Brickell trying to get the lighting right for my matcha latte when my phone rang. Blocked caller ID. Usually I don't answer, stalkers are real, but something about the ring felt urgent. Valerie Sterling? A voice asked, dry, metallic. Speaking, who's this? I'm busy. I'm Arthur Blackwood, an estate attorney based in Manhattan. I'm calling regarding the death of your grandfather, Jack Sterling. I almost laughed. I put my latte down. Look, buddy, you've got the wrong girl. My mom's dad died before I was born, and my dad's dad is in a luxury nursing home in Boca playing bridge right now. Is this a prank? I'm talking about Jack the Captain Sterling, your biological grandfather, Miss Sterling, and this isn't a prank. He left a holographic will. You are the sole beneficiary. I froze. The Miami sun was blazing, the deep house music was bumping, but I felt ice in my veins. My mom never spoke about her father. A bad man, she'd say. Dead a long time. And what exactly did this guy leave me? I asked, using my best spoiled brat voice. The lawyer paused for dramatic effect. The total liquid assets are valued at $42 million plus a property in the Hamptons and a vessel docked in Key West. But there is a condition. You must sign the papers at my office in New York within 7 days. If you aren't here by next Tuesday at noon, the assets go to the state. 42 million. I almost dropped my iPhone. I looked around at the plastic surgery, the fake smiles, the rented Lamborghinis. $42 million was freedom, it was power. It was cutting up my dad's Amex Black Card. I'll be there tomorrow, I said. I didn't know it yet, but I had just signed my own death warrant. Part 2. The truth hurts and smells like gunpowder. New York was gray and raining, like the city knew I was walking into a trap. Blackwood's office smelled like old mahogany and dirty secrets. Blackwood was a short guy in a suit that looked like it was from the 1980s. He looked at me with a mix of pity and disgust. Did you know your grandfather, Valerie? I told you no. My mom said he was a businessman who went bankrupt. Blackwood laughed, a dry barking sound. He threw a thick leather folder onto the desk. Businessman, sure. Jack Sterling controlled 60% of the cocaine entering the East Coast between 1992 and 1998. I couldn't breathe. Cocaine? A narco? My family were real estate developers, respectable people, country club people. That's a lie, I whispered. It's history, kid. Blackwood leaned in. But that's not the interesting part. The interesting part is why you didn't know him. He opened the folder. Yellowed newspaper clippings. Photos of a yacht engulfed in flames. Headline: Explosion at Sea, cartel boss Jack Sterling dead. Date: August 1998. Your grandfather didn't die of old age yesterday, Valerie. Officially, he died 26 years ago in that explosion. But he survived. He went underground. He built this fortune in the shadows, waiting. Waiting for what? Revenge, Blackwood said, his eyes glittering. His yacht engine didn't malfunction. It was a bomb. And it wasn't a rival cartel. He slid a photo across the desk, grainy, taken from a distance at a marina. Two young, tan, beautiful people getting off the boat minutes before the blast, carrying heavy duffel bags. I covered my mouth to stop from throwing up. It was them. Younger with terrible 90s hair, but unmistakable. My father, Richard Sterling, and his sister, my Aunt Caroline. They sold him out, Valerie, the lawyer said cold-bloodedly. They stole $10 million in cash and product. They planted the bomb to erase the evidence. With that money, your dad started Sterling Development. With that money, Aunt Caroline became the queen of Palm Beach society. My whole life. Private schools, Chanel bags, the G-Wagon. It was all built on my grandfather's blood. Why leave the money to me? I asked, my voice cracking. Because you're the only one with clean hands. For now. He pushed the papers toward me. Sign. Take the inheritance, but watch your back. The moment your father and aunt find out this money exists, you stop being family. You become a loose end. I signed. My hand was shaking, but I signed. Greed is a hell of a drug, guys. Stronger than fear. Part 3. Hunting the Influencer. I went back to Miami a secret millionaire and a walking target. It didn't take 24 hours. Blackwood did his job. He notified the family the will had been executed. My dad called first. Well, Valerie, come to the house now. It wasn't a request. I drove to the family mansion on Star Island. My dad, Richard, was in his study drinking scotch at 10 a.m. He looked wrecked. Panic didn't look good on him. Is it true? He snapped out. That old son of a bitch left it all to you? Hi to you too, Dad. Yeah, it's true. He walked toward me. For the first time, I was scared of him. I saw something dark in his eyes. Listen to me, you stupid little girl. That money is ours. You have no idea what we did to survive. You need to wire me 80%. You couldn't manage a lemonade stand, let alone this fortune. What you did? I challenged him, adrenaline spiking. You mean blowing up your own father's boat? His face twisted. He grabbed my arm. Hard. Shut your mouth. If you don't give me that money, Valerie, I swear to God. We handle things differently in this family. I ripped my arm away and ran. I got in my car, shaking. My own father just threatened me. I wasn't his princess anymore. I was his ATM. But the night wasn't over. My Aunt Caroline texted, "Dinner at my penthouse? Let's vent about your dad." Girls' night. Caroline was always my favorite. Classy, fun. I went wanting to believe she was different. The dinner was fancy. Seafood, expensive white wine. Your father is a brute, she said, pouring me more wine. Money makes him crazy. But you and me, we get it. She handed me the glass. She was smiling, but her eyes were dead. Then I saw it. Her hand trembled slightly, and there was a tiny, barely visible white powder on the rim of my glass. Oh my God, I thought. She's trying to poison me. My favorite aunt is trying to kill me for the bag. I need to use the powder room, I said, faking a smile. The second she turned around, I switched the glasses. When I came back, we toasted. To family, she said. To family, I replied. She drank. I faked a sip. 10 minutes later, she started sweating. She clutched her pearls. I feel dizzy, she mumbled. Must be the heat, Auntie, or the guilt. I left her there, passing out on her velvet sofa. It wasn't a lethal dose, just enough to knock her out, but the war was on. I drove straight to the marina to hide on my boyfriend Chase's boat. Chase was a DJ. Hot, chill, my rock. He wasn't there, but his laptop was open. I saw an email. Subject, Sterling case, week 4, update. Attached were photos of me. My bank accounts, transcripts of my calls, the sender, the DE, target, Valerie Sterling, suspected access to cartel funds, maintain surveillance, priority, asset seizure. Chase wasn't a DJ. He was an undercover Fed. He'd been dating me for 6 months just to get to my grandfather's lost money. I sat on the bed. My dad wanted to rob me. My aunt wanted to kill me. My boyfriend wanted to arrest me. In that moment, Valerie the influencer died. I stopped caring about the aesthetic. I pulled out the USB drive the lawyer gave me. It contained digitized VHS footage from 1998. It showed my dad and aunt in the engine room of a boat, rigging wires, laughing. When the old man starts the engine, boom! Goodbye, Daddy. Hello, Trust Fund, Caroline said on the Orachi, tape. You're a cold bitch, my dad laughed. I had the proof. They were murderers, and I had to be smarter than all of them. Part 4, The Funeral for Traitors. 3 days later, I sent the invites. Memorial service for Jack Sterling, private chapel, attendance mandatory for final reading of the will. I knew they'd come. Greed is like blood in the water for sharks. I rented an old Gothic chapel in the middle of nowhere. They all arrived. My dad, in a black suit, staring daggers at me. Aunt Caroline, looking pale behind huge sunglasses. Chase, looking like the supportive boyfriend, not knowing I knew he was a Fed. I stood at the altar, alone. No priest. Thanks for coming, I said. Cut the drama, Valerie, my dad growled. Give us the money. The money. I smiled. Grandpa had a funny way of deciding who deserves it. Suddenly, the back door slammed open. The sound of a cane hitting the floor echoed. Click, clack, click. And then he walked in. Jack Sterling. He wasn't dead. Not completely. He was old, yeah, but he looked dangerous. Burned scars covered half his face. Aunt Caroline screamed. My dad turned white as a sheet and backed into a pew. Dad, Caroline whispered. Hello, kids, Jack said. His voice was like gravel. I see you've done well with my money. Chaos erupted. Chase reached for his waistband, looking for a gun he couldn't pull in a church. This is a trap! Dad yelled at me. You knew, you little bitch! Silence! The grandpa roared. Everyone froze. I'm back for what's mine, but I'm generous. I'll spare one of you. He pulled a gold-plated pistol from his jacket. Whoever tells me right now, looking at that camera, he pointed to a tripod I'd set up, whose idea was the bomb in '98, walks out alive, the other stays here with me. The prisoner's dilemma, narco style. It was Richard! Caroline screamed, pointing at her brother. He bought the C4. I wanted to back out. He forced me. Liar, my dad roared. You contacted the Colombians. You said the old man had to die. They lunged at each other, screaming confessions, admitting to money laundering, murder, bribery, spilling everything. And the camera was rolling, the red light blinking like a demon's eye. Grandpa laughed, a cruel, dry laugh. Pathetic, he said. Both of you. He raised the gun at my dad. No, Chase yelled, pulling his badge. Federal agent, drop the weapon. Grandpa looked at Chase, amused. Police? Nice party, Valerie. It was time. My turn. Actually, Grandpa, I said, backing toward the side exit, the party is just getting started, but I'm leaving. I pulled out my phone and pressed a button. Sirens wailing, dozens of them. SWAT! Open up! FBI! Part 5, The Final Magic Trick. The stained glass windows lit up with blue and red lights. The doors were kicked in. Heavily armed agents swarmed the place. My dad and aunt were screaming they were innocent. Chase tried to explain he was an agent, but in the confusion, he got tackled. And Grandpa? He tried to lift his gun, but 3 red laser dots appeared on his chest. He dropped it, cursing. I watched from the choir balcony, hidden in the shadows. I had anonymously sent the USB drive with the 1998 footage to the FBI that morning, and I had been live streaming this entire confession directly to the DOJ. They had the killers, Dad and Aunt. They had the resurrected narco, Grandpa, and they had the corrupt, incompetent agent who failed to report it. Chase's career was toast. All arrested, all guilty. I slipped out the back door while they were being shoved into vans. Nobody stopped me. To the cops, I was the victim, the brave girl who helped trap her crime family. I walked to my car, a black Porsche parked in the dark. I opened my phone, checked my offshore banking app. Balance, $42,000. The lawyer told me I had 7 days to sign. He didn't tell me I couldn't move the funds. During the chaos, while they were playing spies and gangsters, I did what I do best. I influencing. I used the codes in Grandpa's files, transferred everything to crypto, then to shell companies in the Caymans, and finally to a blind trust in Singapore. The feds would seize the house, the yacht, my family, but the money was gone. Epilogue, the view from the top. Location, Cabo San Lucas, 3 months later. The sun is setting over the Pacific. From my terrace, the ocean looks like liquid silver. I have a new name on my passport. My hair is cut into a sharp bob and dyed jet black. Valerie the influencer died in that church. I sip my spicy margarita. Perfect. I check the news on my burner phone. The headlines in the US are still blowing up about the Sterling crime family. Trials, scandals, 20-year sentences. My dad is crying in court. Aunt Caroline looks old. Grandpa died in prison last week. For real this time. I smile. Not my fake Instagram smile, a real one. Sharp, dangerous. I walk to the balcony railing and look into the camera, breaking the fourth wall one last time. In this family, the only winner was me, because I learned from the best traders in the world, and in the end, the student became the master. Cheers!